all of my employees are client facing. They go above and beyond, and they're very proactive. And, my clients are so happy and excited to be working with them. And, sometimes we do some project-based work and clients will come back and be like, can I have so-and-so again for the next project? Because we just enjoyed them so much. I've even had clients try to say like, can we hire, can we bring you on, can we bring on more people, and can you help us with this, and can you do this, or can this person help us with this? And they're kind of like, how much more work can we give you guys, because they love working with us so much.
Your business's success depends on relationships with customers, relationships with employees, and relationships with the stakeholders. What do they all have in common? They're all human, because no matter if your business is B2B or B2C, it's really H to H, human to human. Welcome to the Human Connection Podcast. I'm your host, Carl Ponto. Each week, I'll bring you stories, insights, and practical advice from experts that you can apply to your growing company and daily life. This week, I'm excited to connect with Stefanie Beach. After 12 years in digital media working with major brands, she encountered a common industry challenge, balancing career momentum with family life. Seeking a better work-life balance, she transformed this personal dilemma into an innovative business solution, founding SMB Media Consulting in 2018. What began as a personal quest quickly evolved into a thriving company offering on-demand media solutions to emerging businesses, brands, and agencies. This unique model addresses the industry's pressing need for flexible digital marketing support amidst the ever-changing digital landscape and performance pressures. Leveraging her extensive experience, Stefanie attracted seasoned professionals who shared her vision, building a team that seamlessly integrates with clients' existing structures. Her company's success is evident in its impressive client roster, including IBM Watson, Apple, the Home Depot, and Foreign Affairs, as well as its rapid growth, ranking 377 on the 2023 INC 5000 list. Her achievements have also earned her numerous accolades, including the 2024 Enterprising Women of the Year Award, all while achieving her initial goal of greater presence with her daughter. Congrats on having a greater presence with your daughter, and welcome to the Human Connection Podcast.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you on the show. And I think it's such an amazing journey you've been through, because so many people are struggling with that work-life balance. And because I'd love to hear more about kind of your experience there and what you've learned that could be valuable for the listeners who are trying to balance scaling businesses and careers with personal life and family life and their personal health, that sort of stuff. So how did you do it? What were some of your insights that you gained through the experience?
Yeah, I mean, this was pre-pandemic as well. I did not, I was looking for flexibility. I was let go of my current company, and as my bio said, I was looking for a little bit more flexibility, and that didn't really exist then. So I created it, and it wasn't the easiest thing to do. And I don't necessarily recommend everyone go out and start a company when you don't find what you want. But I was very fortunate that it did work out for me. Getting a little too personal, I'm not too sure, but I had health issues where I was only able to have one child. And so I really wanted to be able to be as present as I could for her while still working and doing what I enjoy doing. And I was really trying to find a way that I could be home 2 days a week and shorten my commute, and nobody would hire me that way. I interviewed for a year. I turned down 3 jobs. I did all of the things that you would think one would do to be able to get a role that they want. I took a pay cut. I took a demotion. I was like, I won't be a people manager. I'll take a title cut. I'll do all of those things. And it was really hard to find that at that time. So I created my own company. And as a secondary goal, it was to give working adults flexible schedules and a way to work freely. Fast forward, a couple of years and the pandemic happened and everybody was remote. And so, that's not necessarily something that's a need per se. However, a lot of people are going back to office now and we are still 100% remote. But it was an important journey for me to be able to have a happier work-life balance. And, I don't think, especially as a female, you should have to choose between having a family and having a career.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting how not interesting, but commendable how not only did you go and find the work-life balance you wanted for yourself by building your own company, but then your focus on building a team that also was looking for those same sorts of opportunities and probably were having just as hard of a time finding it for you, allowed you to tap into an amazing pool of people that have a whole lot to offer and that were not being supported by existing companies. And I think that's shows the value and the importance of planning an employee experience as a business owner in a way that really accommodates their needs in ways that your competitors won't, because that's how you can really attract and keep the top people. Because you also helps you just build a strong culture and personal connections with them, because you know that they're all going to be parents. So you have that in common. You know, they're all going to be, there's so much you have in common on a personal level that it makes performing as on a professional level that much easier, because you know you're all have that shared experience and that level of trust that so many people don't have with their colleagues. And that leads to stronger outcomes for your clients and gets you to be on the INC's 5,000 fastest growing companies list, because there's not the internal frictions and inefficiencies that so many companies deal with, because they're not bringing in people like the best talent. They're not having that sort of culture where people realize how much they have in common and can really trust each other.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really, spot on. It allows me to hire talent all over. The majority of our people are US based, but they're all over the US. And so I could focus on talent and experience as opposed to location. I organically grew. So my personal background is in programmatic media, but as my clients asked for things, I onboarded different people that have those specific criteria and expertise. So what I did do when I created my agency as well was I tried to take what my clients complained about from their current agency or their large agency and do things a little bit different. And, the talent that I employ really helps with that. And I've grown and bring people on as we grow and as there's a need for more people, which means that we have more work, right? But everybody that I bring on stays. And, I just hired my first virtual assistant, literally had a kickoff call with her today. Aside from that, the other person, I hired was 3 years old. And that's because, I brought on a new service and we needed to service that because a client was like, hey, I'll give you the business if you could do X, Y, and Z for us. And so I was like, sure, if there's going to be dollars behind it, let's do it. And, when my team is so fully vested in how I treat them, how I pay them, the work that I give them. And so they stay with me, they are here for the long haul. One of my first and oldest employees is 7 years old. I hired her with my first client ever when we were starting to grow, and she's been with me ever since. And my clients love my team and love working with us. And so I think it's really important to be able to get that customer service and that representation of who we are and what we want to put forth in the people that we work with. And when people are happy and people are doing fulfilling work and they feel like they're being treated like adults, you know, they will bend over backwards for you and take pride in their work and do all of the things that they, you know, you ask them to do and that the clients are expecting them to do. All of my employees are client facing. They go above and beyond, and they're very proactive. And, you know, my clients are so happy and excited to be working with them. And, you know, sometimes we do some project-based work and clients will come back and be like, can I have so-and-so again for the next project? Because we just enjoyed them so much. I've even had clients try to say like, you know, can we hire, you know, can we bring you on, can we bring on more people, and can you help us with this, and can you do this, or can this person help us with this? And, you know, they're kind of like, how much more work can we give you guys, because they love working with us so much. And I think part of that too is the way that I hire and the type of people that I bring on board, for sure.
Yeah, I know that when you have a team that feels that sense of connection and that sense of being treated like an adult and respect and belonging with your company, then the way your clients experience working with them is drastically improved. And so it's no surprise that you're getting that response from your clients where the team members are delivering such an exceptional experience that the clients want to bring them on or find more work for you, and are looking for ways to build the relationship and give you more money to get more value from your team, because it's not only is it great work, but there's that personal connection, that relationship, that respect and friendship in a certain way that they know they're not going to get from another agency, another business. And so not only does that speak volumes to that you've had team members that have stayed with you for 7+ years, but you also, those clients are also going to keep coming back, as you've explained, because and request the work with the same people. I think that's one of the biggest performance review highlights, is when the client comes back.
Yeah, it really is.
Can we work with this person? We want to make sure we work with this person again, because it shows that, again, it's not the business outcomes that were the only factor. It is that personal experience and the way your team makes your clients feel.
Yes.
That, like, your competition can offer any sort of kind of transactional bargains they want, but they're not going to sway your clients away from you, because you're offering something that is basically priceless, which is that sense of connection and belonging and being seen as on a human level that they're just not going to get from any other agency. It just,
and it also allows for, you know, it really allows for trust building and connection, right? And we also, so SMB Media Consulting is a full service digital media agency, and we work with brands in helping them, you know, achieve their revenue goals through paid and organic media. So search, social, digital and programmatic, email, SEO, anything on a digital screen. We do strategic work, we do activation, we do campaign management, media planning and buying, all of it. And those things kind of started to come, and those services started to come based off of what our clients wanted. We also white label for other agencies. And I think the biggest compliment I could have is that sometimes the agencies even try hiring my people full time. And so, you know, nobody has been wanting to go. Like, I'm not going to stand in the way of anybody's dream job. I always present it to them, even though I secretly pray they don't leave me. It's happened 3 times, and on all 3 occasions, the people have decided to not go. But, you know, I feel like it's very telling about the type of people that we employ and how we work. And I think having that work-life balance and extending that through our company as part of our, you know, core values and mission is really important. I have had people that are like, hey, I can't take that call, I'm in the gym. And I'm like, okay, you're taking it a little too extreme with the flexibility, right? I don't mind the flexibility as long as the work gets done and the clients are happy. But if you're blowing off client calls, for something else, and it's all about balance. It really is all about balance. And we just need to find people who are able to handle that balance. Not working remotely is hard for some people, and I get that. But we just need to make sure that we find the right people.
Yeah, and I think there is that balance is not something you can set at once and then it's always going to stay there. It's something you have to constantly work at. And different times you might need to be more focused on work, and other times later on you'll be able to take some time for yourself, and over time that balance averages out. But if there's a huge deadline coming up, you're obviously going to need to be focusing more on the work side to get the deadline done. But then afterwards, knowing that you'll be able to take the time to recharge and rest and rebalance that ledger is really important. And so often businesses don't have that time for resting and recharging for their teams. They just kind of expect them to go on to the next big deadline. So there's a constant crunch culture, and there's never a time for people to pump the brakes and recharge and take some time for themselves without there being some repercussions. And so it leads to people burning out and leaving, which in the end just hurts the business more, because you have to deal with replacing people and the loss of that productivity, and the client relationships are damaged, and it stands in the way of what those businesses leaders claim that they're doing it for, which is to get the better bottom line results. Like, well, you get the better bottom line results by taking care of your people and having that balance, because then that passes on to the clients, and that leads to clients coming back asking to do more work with you and wanting to pay you more, which leads to better bottom line growth. And so it's frustrating to see so many companies fail to understand what you've seemed to have perfected by leaving that kind of corporate space, which is that when you find that balance for yourself and your team, that experience improves your client experience, and that leads to rapid growth, and also the growth in a way that's sustainable and long-term, because as you've demonstrated, the clients and the people keep coming back, which is what companies want.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a trickle-down effect, right? It's kind of like you get what you put into it. We employ experts. So if you're working with us in social media, you're getting a social media expert. If you're working with us in programmatic, you're getting a programmatic expert, right? We also don't do any handoffs. So at larger agencies, you have, a strategist, a buyer, an activation person, a campaign manager. This is one person that's fully vested in your business. They know the strategy. They've built out the media plan. They executed upon it. They're managing it. So it allows us to drive efficiencies, to identify both opportunity and any issues faster. And we're able to make edits and optimizations faster, knowing we put this in market, this is how it's supposed to perform, this is what we're expecting, instead of being like, this isn't working. Okay, let me talk to the media planner. Okay, let me talk to the strategist. Okay, let me talk to this person. And everybody's kind of just pointing fingers. I really tried to just build something while we are an ad agency at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Or a media agency at the end of the day. We do pride ourselves on being client focused and customers first. My personal background was always in client services, customer success, account management, and years and years and years of hearing feedback. I took that feedback and tried to proactively create a team and a company where that's already built in.
Yeah, and it shows, and it's something that I think especially in like the startup space, companies these days they're so focused on the tech or the tool or the software or like what they're building, and very much they're focused inward instead of outward on what do our clients want? What do our clients need? What do they actually, what's going to bring them value? And then there's that like oops moment when the companies are trying to like release a product and no one really, there's not the adopter, there's no real market for it. And it says, well, you start with a focus on what do your clients need? Then and building the experience with them in mind, like you have, it leads to a much better outcome for everyone. And again, it's one of those lessons that isn't a new concept. And so it kind of baffles me how many companies out there keep stepping on the same rake when they've seen countless examples of other companies making these same mistakes. So excellent discussion. I really appreciate you sharing this with me. And thank you so much for connecting with me today, Stefanie. If you enjoyed this episode of the Human Connection podcast, please leave a review, and share it. If you'd like to connect with myself or Stefanie, check out the links in the show notes. And remember, no matter if your business is B2B or B2C, it's really H to H, human to human. Happy connecting.